In Nigeria's eastern Taraba state, tension has been brimming since a November 7th decision to nullify the governor's election. Hajia Aisha El-Hassan was elected to take over from Darius Ishaku. Shortly after the decision by the state governorship election petitions tribunal, at least 7 people died in reported shootouts and other attacks. An appeal is now underway. Earlier, I was joined by Daniel Bwala, legal practitioner and member of the Honourable Society of Lincoln's Inn, London. Take a look. The State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, they annulled the vote on the 7th of November.
Right.
In your opinion, could you tell us some of the reasons behind that decision?
Right. I have read the judgment, and the tribunal based the reasons in 3 ways. First of all, they said that the testimony of the INEC officer who testified that there was no primaries conducted in Taraba, that the primaries was conducted in Abuja, and therefore it was not in compliance with the law. Then also they raised the issue of section 140 sub 2 of the Electoral Act, what it provides and how they differ from that provision. They also raised the issue of qualification and nomination of a candidate. So the tribunal arrived at the conclusion that that the PDP as a party did not sponsor a candidate, and in the circumstance the election was nullified, and then they gave the order to the person who scored the highest vote in the election, which now has been challenged, and they are going to the Court of Appeal.
If it was flawed, why in the first place was he allowed to stand as a candidate?
Right. You see, the Electoral Act is clear. First of all, in our laws in Nigeria, you have the provision of section 65, 177 of the Constitution and section 78 of the Electoral Act. They provide for what amounts to qualification of a candidate, that you have to have a primaries in which delegates will vote for the candidate, and if he emerged the winner, then he can be presented by the party to the electoral body. That actually happened. There was a primaries, and although their contention is that the primary was not in the place where they wanted the primary to be done. But Court of Appeal this month delivered a judgment in Nigeria that states the presence of INEC officers in the primaries does not really matter, as long as there is a compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act, where you notify INEC of the primaries coming up and you notify INEC whoever emerges as the winner. This is our candidate. And that actually happened.
And what are the reasons for not holding fresh elections? And do you think that will eventually happen?
Well, if the Court of Appeal looked at the matter and decides that the tribunal was right in disqualifying but was wrong in not making an order for a fresh election, then the Court of Appeal will make an order for fresh election. But if the Court of Appeal decides that the tribunal was wrong in its law, then what the Court of Appeal will do is the Court of Appeal will reinstate Darius to the mandate that has been given to him by the people, and that means he remains the governor.